And now we have Dr. Sadaqat Ali, who's joined us all the way from Lahore to discuss this topic. Tell us, what is this disorder, this disease, this illness called alcoholism? What is it?
It is a physical disorder like diabetes. It is most closely resembling diabetes and heart disease, whereby metabolic disorder starts this process of alcoholism. And people who drink alcohol do not necessarily become alcoholic one day. Only 10% out of those people who have a genetic code in this respect ultimately cross that invisible line and fall into alcoholism.
Dr. Sadaqat, your field is primarily addiction, and this is addiction again. Alcoholism is a kind of addiction, or is it? What is this disorder, this illness, alcoholism?
Contrary to the popular belief, it is a physical disorder most closely like diabetes and heart disease. The actual problem is metabolic in nature, and this metabolic error starts in the body, not in the mind.
So it's physiological?
It's physiological to begin with, but ultimately it encroaches the psychology and the social life of the person who suffers from alcoholism. Everybody who drinks does not end up as an alcoholic. Only 10% of those will cross that invisible line into alcoholism, and it's a nightmare.
What makes you more susceptible to actually becoming an alcoholic?
It is a genetic code basically. There are a lot of triggers in the environment also. There is a psychological problem also, but the real trigger comes from the genetic code. And once that genetic code is triggered, it is never reversible. It goes
it's irreversible.
It is irreversible.
And the only way to stop it then is just to stop.
Can you explain genetic code for the audience out there? What does it imply?
Basically, the seat of drinking is in the mind, but the seat of alcoholism is in the body. If somebody starts taking alcohol in teenage or early in life, then there are more chances of that genetic code to be triggered. But if somebody starts alcohol late in life, then probably there are less chances of that person to become alcoholic.
Well, presumably just less time in a lifespan. The later you start anything, the less time you have for it to take effect on you.
No,
anyway.
genetics is like that. If there is a genetic code and you trigger it earlier, it is going to be severe.
What are some of the triggers that get people to drink alcohol to begin with? I mean, social, yes. You know, people go to bars, or they go to pubs, or they go wherever. I mean, there's a whole social element to this. But aside from that obvious one, what would be other reasons why, or triggers why someone might imbibe alcohol?
The real thing comes from the genetics. But if there is a genetic code and there are environmental factors also very rich towards that, then definitely the person is going to suffer from alcoholism.
So there's a clear difference between people who are alcoholics and people who like to have a drink or two.
Absolutely. If somebody drinks a drink or two, and if it is not a problem, then it is not a problem. But if the drinking starts generating problems, then definitely it is a journey towards alcoholism.
Thank you so much for being with us today. It was a very informative discussion, and it was difficult for you, but you broke it down very easily for all of us and the audience out there, such that we could actually get to the essence of the problem. And I think, Amina, we can safely say that today we managed to cover a topic which is not supposed to be discussed on TV.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's an issue. It's an illness. It's a disease like any other disease that you have in the world. We've talked about many other illnesses. This is just another illness that needs addressing. Thank you very much, Dr. Sadaqat. That was great.
And thank you for actually writing in to us, because this show was prompted by emails, and it wasn't just one email, it was loads of emails that we got from you people that you enjoyed, and you were very informed by the discussion we had on the drug addiction show. So can we have a follow-up on that?
And this is yet another addiction, and it's a disease and illness. Don't forget that this is an illness. It's a disease. You need to see a doctor.